This week's episode, Adam and I are going to be talking about what's on our minds, what are we thinking about, what are we investigating in terms of how we're using AI, as well as simple things that you could do to help get your side hustle going. Everybody needs a website, so how can you use these tools to help you get the best version of that right away without having to pay a monthly premium to just update the code and make sure that it's all ready to go. So, with that said, welcome to Free Period. All right.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good. It's what day is it? I'm on summer break, so I don't even know what day of the week it is anymore. It's Tuesday? Is today Tuesday?
Yeah,
Tuesday?
yes, I am recording with, and that is the hand of my amazing 6-year-old child. I feel like, in the COVID times when you'd see snippets of like people in important board meetings and their kid then decides to stick their head into the frame and it was like, everyone has a real life. But yeah, so, I suppose we're trying to stay consistent on our summer holidays. I'm in a different location. I am house sitting for a friend, looking after a tiny dog, and then planning the rest of our 6-week summer. As becoming a teacher, as I'm sure most of you are motivated, not just by the holidays, but having them with my children. Sometimes you regret life decisions. Joking, of course.
It totally does remind me of the COVID times when those people would be doing those interviews on national television, and you're like, "Hey, trying to explain something complex like the neurobiology of something," and it's just like their kids or their dogs are like messing around in the background. And then the parent comes in and trying to like pull them out. Maybe I'll show the clip of that video, but they're like dragging the kids out of the room, the other parent. But that's fun times. So, what's been new on your mind, Adam? What have you been thinking about? What you've been working on?
Well, I've just been trying to stay consistent. I've been slowly building a biology YouTube as well, but I've been trying to start like articulating what it is that I think vibe coding means for teaching. I think that, as you know, we get very excited as individuals and maybe sometimes start pulling on 100 threads at the same time. And I was like trying to like whittle down my first real eureka moment when I built an app for my class, and it was just like another app. And I've talked about it before, like Cramly, and it became something special when they engaged with it. And they engaged with it when I started modifying it for them. So I've been thinking about vibe coding in terms of like the self-determination theory, which, like how do you create this intrinsic motivation? And it says that we engage this when all three needs are met: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And I've been trying to relate my work in vibe coding, this app, into that, because, I could see like a real pick up when the students were like, wow, you've managed to make that tweak for me. And sometimes I was doing it live in class. We had the app, I had Claude open, they were busy in something, or like we just decided, what, a bit of class time is valuable today for us to modify this for you as learners. And it became like our app. And then that's when that real switch from me giving them a piece of software that they have to learn and it's just like another thing stacked on their plate to something that was theirs. And there was a real shift in motivation. So yeah, I've been thinking about my work in like the context of pedagogy, to like frame it to help teachers understand a little bit better why I'm so excited with language that maybe they're more familiar with.
Yeah, no, that's super cool. And because I've been thinking a little bit about that actually as well. And I think for me is the thing that I've been pondering is just, I feel like I'm really excited about it, and I feel like there's so many cool opportunities. And I feel like most people I talk to are either like, "Oh, I hate that stuff. Just gonna take all of our critical thinking skills," or they're like, "It's gonna kill us. So why are you trying to continue to like dig into this?" And I think it doesn't have to be those extremes. And I think the reason why I find it so fun, because I think that there are ways in which you can actually use it to leverage your thinking. and not offload those things, right? So it's like, uh, if you're writing a book, you could still write the book. It can help you just kind of maybe think through some ideas or organize some of your thoughts. And you can still manually do a lot of those things and it doesn't have to take that process away from you, but it can help facilitate or even just kind of organize your calendar and do different things to help improve the way that you do things. So I think for me is it's just those same ideas is it's like how can we this isn't going to go away. Kids are going to continue to use it, and how can we use it in a way that actually allows us to get the best result where we can kind of grow as people versus feeling like it's just a thing that we have to manage and it's hindering our ability for growth. So um, it's a long-winded way to say what you were just saying, but yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
I mean, I think I converted someone this week. It wasn't in education, but the main idea of today's show was to think about, everyone's got a side hustle or and it's nice to have a web page that represents you. I created one for myself because was creating all these apps and I wanted to share them. And I think it's interesting to blog about how you approach building your curriculum for other people to read. When I started off in the IB, I really took a lot of value from, there's one site called Biology for Life, and this woman's really well documented how she approaches teaching. And that was invaluable because I didn't know what I was doing at first. And
yeah,
you're siloed in an international school. You're on your own. You've got no one to bounce off. Like, it's a small department, it's a small school. And then I had an old friend visit this week, and he was talking to me about he's got a new side hustle. He's got a alcohol company. I'll show you the webpage actually. So it's called Whiskers Spirits. So of course his vodka is distilled 9 times. I love this logo here. He has a friend that works for Trek that designed it for them. But actually, Claude Code, like Claude Design, can do some amazing logos. So his problem was he was like, I had a friend helping me with Squarespace. We paid for Squarespace, but she's going through a difficult time right now, and I can't figure it out. Like, I've tried, it's not intuitive. He reached out to a few other people, and it's like $700 to $800 a page that people were charged to create. And
crazy.
I was like, all you want is a static page? Like, he's like, yeah, I just need the presence of that because they've bottled 1,000 bottles of vodka. It's in the shops in Vermont, and he just wants to start to have that internet presence. Like, eventually, the web page will they have an about and a shop and all of that stuff. And I said I'm happy to help him draft that. I was like, but if all you want is a static web page now, I can knock that up in like a few minutes, and you don't need Squarespace with a monthly subscription because actually, like, a static page is not much to it.
Yeah,
So we just, like, he was amazed at what we could do really. And I just said, I took the logo and I just started, like, if you haven't played with Claude Design yet, it's awesome. I was like, give me some different interactions. I was like, I don't want it to be just static. You'll see that this one here, it tilts and it just follows slightly, just makes it a little bit more fun.
yeah, that's cool.
And then there's a purr, and it came up with, like, this is the watchful one that we've got going on there. Then there's a pounce, which is, some of them are a bit basic, but it helps get your creative juices flowing as well.
Hmm.
And then you can come back to Claude with some of your own ideas. This is just the lean, the magnetic drift. I quite like this one too. And the pouring one. It's a
Well,
bit
that's cool.
pixelated around there, but this is
Yeah,
quite nice. And of course, it's borrowing ideas from what it's been able to find on the internet. And then I like this one too. So we just started with this, and then to make a static web page, all you need to do is then, you can from here, you can click share, click export, and you can take the whole project zip or a standalone HTML as well. Dropped it into a folder in GitHub. So it's free to make a GitHub
hmm,
account. You create a repo in here, and if you get stuck, like anything with this, you can just, like, screenshot this whole page and be like, what do I do? Where do I click? We're here to help you figure it out a bit more than that. But, like, as far as creating a new project goes, it's super easy. You just click new project and then you
yeah.
name
When
it.
And a
when you
really
drop your
easy
template.
way in which you can screenshot things is by using on a Mac, you can do Command Control Shift 4, and it will allow you to like select the whole all that you want for a page, and
Mm.
just paste it. You just hit Command V in your Claude chat, and it just drops it right in, which is super fun and easy.
Yeah, and then the other thing, you just need to host it. So I connect it to Vercel. It's a free account once again. And I think the only technical part of this is when you want to add in your own web address, like whiskersspirits.com. And you buy that domain off of like GoDaddy or something similar, and they just have what's called a DNS record. And you have to just change that. So it redirects it all to Vercel. And it's easy enough to enter that. You're told where to do it too as well under your settings. Um, you've got that option to add in the DNS record there. So it took less than an hour to put this together for him. He was super thankful. I didn't charge him $700. I wish I did, but no, he's a good friend. And at the moment, like, I'm just enjoy building and helping enable other people. And I showed him through the process. And then you can also add people to your repo, so he's able to edit it and stuff himself if he wants to. But yeah, hoping to build out the rest of that with him. And it's like today as well, bumped into a friend that's starting a after school kids club. She creates these amazing lessons that she does with the students. And I was like, well, how have you thought about scaling this? You're on Instagram now. What about a web page? And it was the same kind of friction point. She's like, oh, I've looked at Squarespace, but it's not intuitive and it's not cheap to get someone to help you. And when I tried to
Mhm.
build one before, I was never able to get it to a point of publishing it. And actually, I use one, and I use Squarespace, and I figured it out, but it took a lot of time. And it was like, if you made one little editorial change, like when you have your standard fonts, the standard sizes, and then you decided that you didn't like that down the road, it kind of changed everything. So having like those foundational palettes and the foundational fonts and the sizes is super important when you're designing on there. So I can see
Mhm.
why there's specialist people for it. But
Yeah. Well, you're
actually,
kind of stuck to those templates, right? Unless you're really,
mm,
really creative with
yes.
how you know how to like use the, text box features and adding links and doing all these different things. It can get really complicated really fast, and oftentimes it requires more cost to get better
Mm.
features, like being able to do a glitch feature or stuff like that. Is not something that's inherent in the
Well,
like basic
yeah,
plan. And so I
and you're
think
locked in forever,
right,
monthly
right.
subscription. He
And you
hasn't. If
don't
he
have
sticks with this,
you can't download it and take it somewhere else. You kind of are
no,
stuck there. You
exactly.
have to rebuild the whole thing.
Yeah, but like you were saying about creativity, I feel like, if someone's like, well, I want a template because I don't really know where to start. I mean, do some research. Go and find 3 or 4 web pages that you really like, and use those as a starting point in a conversation with Claude, or whatever LLM you're using, and say that I love this about this one site. I love the interactive part of this, but you don't want to copy it, but it's taking your inspiration. It's like when you learn to write. You take
Mhm.
inspiration from your favorite authors. So it's the same when you're developing a web page.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I think we talked about briefly last time is there's websites like Dribble or Mobbin,
Hmm.
um, that allow you to kind of see inspiring websites or user experiences. Here, I'll see if I can pull up those sites for you. Um,
Have you had a chance to build anything this summer so far?
I have not had a chance
Just
at all.
inundated with family.
Yeah, it's been a very busy family um, summer because I haven't been back to the U.S. in a long time.
Hmm.
Um, oh my gosh,
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame you really. I probably wouldn't go there either. I'm actually going back to the UK next week. It's always nice to be reminded of how amazing Switzerland is. Although, do live in a little mountain bubble that's not really the real world.
yeah. So yeah, so I've been super busy with just connecting with everybody and spend a couple years so trying to do that. But yeah, like a websites like Dribble right here are examples of things that you can do, and you can feed these directly to Claude as examples. You can screenshot them, you can show it, like you can look up like I'm looking for a dashboard, right? Or a landing page or something like that. And you can scroll through ideas.
Mm.
You can do, a portfolio. So you can kind of see what those different options are. And then the other site that
You have to
can
pay for
help.
Dribble. Does it have like the code there that you could literally go and download it?
I'm not sure. I've only just screenshotted things. They
That
might
works well enough.
they might have an MCP that you can connect. I know the other one that I was looking at was Mobbin, and there's an MCP here, and they have a free tier as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can go really far down this rabbit hole. Have you seen like GSAP? I say Gasp. I'm not sure if it's called Gasp, but
Yeah,
that's
yes.
like animate anything, and it's got some really cool. It's very similar um, to this, but it's like
Yeah,
about animating your text
yeah.
and the way
When
that the
you can see all of like what's cool is that I know with Mobbin, I think you can connect it as an MCP to Claude, and so you can save a bunch of ideas, and then you can just go into your chat with Claude and say, "Hey, look at my Mobbin account,"
Hmm.
and see all the saved things. And you can do the same thing within um, within Pinterest as well. So you could save if there's ideas on Pinterest that you really like, you can always save those as well. Um, so it's really kind of cool because you can, um, like, I'm just thinking here, if I share my um, Claude account, you can see under customize, you can see connectors here. And you can have different things that you can connect to. So you could add Canva or Adobe. Um, and I think if you browse these connectors, I want to say Pinterest. Uh, oh, maybe not. But there are so many different places that you
hmm.
can connect to different things, or you can do a custom connection. So that way you can actually get things done. But it's cool because you can, connect to different things and have it actually um, feed information without having to screenshot it a million times, which is super helpful. But
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
that's cool, man. The well, it seems, I mean, just in terms of being able to, like, if everyone, like, maybe not everybody has a side hustle, but I feel like there's a lot of entrepreneurial spirit out there. And everybody's always looking for ways to kind of get their reach, right? To share the ideas they have, or to share the things. And I know that I've built many websites with Squarespace for different counseling practices and things like that over the years, as well as just for personal project usage, for photography things or stuff like that. And it is super daunting at times when you're thinking about building those things. And now it can be so much easier. And even just the fact that you can just ask a million questions, right? You can just
Hmm.
screenshot, ask a question. How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? And it's almost just like someone's walking you through how to do it. And then eventually you can get that first one down. And then eventually you can do the next one, and it can get a little faster and a little easier each time. And it's worth it because, you know, kind of getting your name out there, having a place where people can come to see what you're doing is super important. And you can do that all really cheap and affordably, um, and have really good
Yeah,
design. You don't have to
I
sacrifice
think
that
that.
anymore.
Yeah, I think that's what put me off in the past. Like, I actually did spend like $1,000 on a Squarespace subscription once because it was like there was an offer on. I wanted to create like a teaching community. I had an idea for like I think we called it Pair to Share, where it was like inspired by that first week back week where you're all in professional development meetings together, and me and my colleague had like 1 hour where we actually chatted properly, like before the school started, and we came up with so many cool ideas, and it just felt like the best hour of that week. And then of course you barely see each other when term gets under full swing. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if we could create like a community model? And then we were just, we were like, well, this is something we'd probably have as a subscription, and rah rah rah. And it just ended up like, I think I dropped $1,000 on this, and then it didn't even like, and I did spend a lot of time building the Squarespace thing. But long story short, it didn't go anywhere. Like now you can take that risk without dropping such amount of cash, on yourself. I think,
Yeah.
like building that web page for my mate there is like a tenner a year for his domain name, as
Yeah,
that
for
static
sure.
basic one. And we could actually build it. And I said to him, like, we can build out the about, we could build out the ordering for the spirits on there, where we integrate Stripe. I was like, it's not something that needs to be done immediately, but it's something we can slowly add to, and that you don't need, um, you don't need to be paying a third party person in order to build it, and you don't need to be paying a designer to help with it anymore. Like you could take control of it yourself, and you'd probably, really enjoy that process too. Because I feel like whenever you're trying to articulate how you want something to look to a web designer thing, it's always going to have their own flair in it and not yours. So
Mhm.
now it's
And
something that
and
you could,
sometimes it's worth paying them for that. And other times when you're first getting started, it's just nice to be able to just get something like a minimum viable thing to get it going
yeah.
and
I mean,
make
like
it
this
work.
for him was a big, like, he's like, this is bootleg. We just want to test the market, um, see if it's something that people want, and he'd rather not spend tons of cash straight away.
Totally.
You know, but yeah. But this next week, yeah, I'm trying to write an article to submit to Edutopia, and one for the International Educator Tie. So I feel like I really want to get this message out there about how vibe coding is intricately linked to self-determination theory and like intrinsic motivation in students. I feel like that's a thread that I really want to spend most of my time pulling on.
Yeah, no, I love that idea. And I think that there's probably a lot of room for expansion in that too, because I don't really know how many people are thinking about it. And so the fact that you are and you can kind of articulate that well, I think will be super helpful and valuable. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
I'd love to come up with a study, but then I always had issues with educational studies because I come from science. I have like a couple of published papers in marine biology, and like the kind of data that we have in science is it's like so robust and it's quantitative. And
Hmm.
then like obviously when you come to then other areas of research that are like social sciences and it becomes qualitative data, it's just like it always kind of like nagged at me. I just couldn't get my brain around it, like how we were making conclusions based on 12 qualitative observations or something. I'm like, you
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
make
or
this.
based off of
But
self-assessment reports.
yeah. But like, I'm getting to grips with it, and I can see the value in it. It's just not something that at first I could compute in my very well trained scientific brain.
Yeah,
But I want to get my head around how I could, you know, how can I quantify it? And then maybe I don't even need to quantify it as such. It's more qualitative about like my observations. How did those students' attitude change?
hmm,
I like to have numbers, but does it really need numbers? I don't know. I'll learn more about educational research before I jump into it.
yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, I think that could probably close us out
Yeah.
for this week's episode. If you are a builder or an educator and you're building some cool websites or you're looking to do some cool things in your classroom, definitely give us a follow and check us out at freeperiod.ai because we do have some really cool things that we're trying to build there and share. It's all free. So if you if you have some things that you're interested or comments or questions or ideas, things that you want us to talk more about, definitely leave a comment below, and we'll look into that next time. So
Yeah.
with that said, we'll see you in the next one.
Catch you later.